Hello again, and thanks for watching the video. I hope you're well. Now, those people that kind of know me, I mean, you never know anybody through a camera and through YouTube or social media, do you? But you'll know that I'm not, I was going to say I'm not a grumpy person. That's not true. I'm human, so I am grumpy. But I don't lose my temper like some engineers do, especially when it comes to TVs. But if there's one TV in the world that's likely to get my back up, it's going to be this one. But this is a free TV, and it's going to look like the parts are free, and I'll explain why in a second as the video goes on. I'm doing a voiceover on this, not a running commentary, quite simply because if I was doing a running commentary, I would have to bleep a lot of things, and then the video wouldn't be monetized, because this really is one of those videos that I'm expecting to go wrong. I'm expecting a smashed screen eventually. I'm expecting maybe something under the bezel. What we call, right at the very bottom underneath the screen, there are the diffusers, and the bottom diffuser is what's known as a prism. It's a special piece of glass because this set is edge lit from the bottom, so it's not backlit technically, it's edge lit, and the lights shine up through the prism glass, but the prism glass on these tends to crack under the heat. Now, if the prism glass has cracked, it's game over, because it's just going to look like the screen is cracked. This is a curved TV. It's a semi-curved TV. Don't know if you know that Samsung did. Well, there could be 3 variations. I know of 2, because we used to have 2 very special curved tools to put the TV on. Just showing you the model number there. So the TV had got support in the middle. I've just got a cushion in there at the moment. This is a semi-curved one, so it's not so bad. What is so bad about these TVs? Well, it's the fact that the prism sheet and the backlights are so close to each other that they burn. The prism sheet will burn, and it will allow LED bleed through at the bottom. There are some flashes of LED coming through, and you can't get rid of them. Very rare that these sets are not burnt up. If they're burnt up, I'm just going to use this. I'm making this video just to prove a point. It's not just this model, by the way. This is an RU in the model number. If you have got a KU, there's also an MU and an NU. This is an RU, and I think there's a TU, but there could be an argument for saying they discovered by the time the TU came out the problem. Anyway, you can see here that there's only a small portion of the screen lighting up, and this is, as I say, because it's edge lit, and right at the top of the screen here where it says source, because I've got the TV the other way around, that's where the edge lights or the edge lights are, and 3/4 of them aren't working. Now, I've got a brand new set, but whether we'll get round to fitting that or not, I don't know, because taking this screen out and dismantling this TV can be frustrating. Okay, so another thing that can be frustrating about this TV is the TV with no screws. It's a clip-on back, and you technically need some special Samsung tools, which I've got, but I don't use. A couple of screwdrivers are fine. You notice there are insert holes at the bottom. You can see one here that I'm using a big screwdriver in. That's just to prise it open a little bit. Then with my right hand and a slightly smaller screwdriver, I just push up and go around, and you hear the TV unclipping bit by bit until you've come all the way back round again, and you celebrate by throwing your screwdriver on the floor. It's the way to do things when you're celebrating. In a workshop anyway. And I am just using the right amount of force. It may seem like I'm being a bit harsh. Well, I wouldn't be any harsher, because you really do have to be so gentle with these fragile screens. In the middle at the bottom of the screen is the infrared sensor, and if you catch that, it catches the bottom of the screen and it's job over. You can tell I'm welling up already thinking about it, because I've broken a couple of these in the past, which may be one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of it now. But anyway, the back's off. Next thing to do is to get the speakers out, and there's also a little metal shield at the bottom which covers the screen T-con area, the screen tabs, and we need to remove that. So that's what I'm going to do. So far, so good. A lot of the people comment on my videos that I make it look so easy. Well, it's the same as anything else with experience. Whatever you do for a living, I couldn't touch it because you're doing it every day. It's just experience, just the way that it works. But taking off the bezel for the screen, that's the plastic surrounding bit of the top of the screen, I must admit I did make it look easy. And I've been doing this a long time, and it still takes me, are you ready, off these particular models, at least 10 to 20 minutes just to get the front bezel off. The clips are on so firmly, they're on so tight, it's incredible. And so I did edit that down, and it does take some time. Just taking the screen out there. Now, that in itself is something which is quite dangerous, because I did say that this is a semi-curved screen. It is a curved TV. But the screen is not curved. Just have a look, I'll show you that again. That screen now, as you can probably see, the second you take it out from a curved TV, becomes a normal flat screen. You imagine a screen, which at the end of the day is just a bit of plastic glass, very expensive plastic glass, but plastic glass, without going into the great details of how the screen works. You imagine a screen that's been curved, put in a curved position for 5 years, and then you just take it out of that curved position. What's the first thing it's going to do? Spring straight back into being straight, and sometimes just crack. But on this occasion, it didn't. Most of the times it doesn't, but do bear in mind, they are not curved screens. They are straight screens that they forcibly curve. Just taking the rest of the diffusers out now, bit by bit. These are the things that can cause you problems. Only what you saw me doing a second ago there is just getting a piece of paper, because some of the bezels and some of the diffusers are stuck on each other. They put just a little bit of glue, and what you don't want to do is just try and rip it off, because you'll cause a tear, you'll cause a crease, and that will forever be in the screen, and there will be tears. Just remember, if you mess around with the diffusers and you damage them, and one of the biggest problems with this TV is that one of the main diffusers, the bottom plastic one, does get cracked. Now you can see the impact of the burn-in here, but I'll let you into a little secret. This is slight. You can see it. It's a mess. It's going to cause a few problems, but that's only 10% of what normally happens on these. Yes, shock horror probe. I'm wearing gloves. Don't usually handle gloves for screen work because I find it's not very good at making a grip with the screen. But it's very important, not for the screen on this, but for the plastic glass at the bottom, because if you haven't got gloves on, it picks up your fingerprints like the CID. And you don't want fingerprints on because they show through when you put the TV back together again. It's another pain. The other thing, of course, is we had this TV switched on 45 minutes ago, so there's probably still a charge in the caps on the LED circuit, which is why I'm dismantling these carefully. If you're wondering why I'm using the little clippers, the little pinchers here, there are just some little metal tabs that you have to bend up to get the old edge lights out, and I'm pushing them back down with this. It's not something that's really 100% needed, but it's just something I do. Just to reiterate, I don't expect this TV to work. I got this TV for free. You'll find out in a second that I'm going to get the parts for free to fix it, which is the 2 LED strips. I always thought that this particular model and the next model up and the next model up always burn out. And so I always thought it's a waste of time repairing these. I know some of you will hate me for saying that, but it is. So I'm not expecting this to work. I'm expecting the picture quality to be quite poor from where we've got some burnouts. In saying that, this model has not burnt out too bad. But there's always a risk of the screen going crack. And I'll let you into a little secret. We do have a problem. And this is the problem. Look at this. The brand new edge lights don't work. There's a section missing. As soon as I switched them on, they did work for about 2 seconds. There was a very low electrical crackle and a section went out on the brand new ones, which means we're in trouble. And no, sadly, I don't have any spare because I refused to repair these sets. I just decided, because I'd got this TV in free of charge, that I would order 1 set from China. They are ridiculously cheap, by the way, the edge lights. About £7 for a pair. Ridiculously cheap. But the reason they're ridiculously cheap is because nobody's buying them. Because nobody wants to take this on. If I'm getting frustrated, and I've repaired several of these, not dozens, not hundreds, but several of them, if I'm getting frustrated, if you've never done this before, you will be tearing your hair out. So this is the brand new strip. I've just taken off the 4 that have shorted straight away. As soon as they were plugged in, they just shorted straight away. I've never done this before on the edge slits. I've never tried to take any of the old ones off and put new ones on. Or in this particular occasion, I'm taking the new ones off. And now I'm going to go looking for one of the old strips. This is the old strip that we've taken out. And I'm going to find 3 or 4 that haven't got a black dot on. You can probably see some that have got a black dot. Well, those that have got a black dot have shorted or just fused, not work. But the ones that haven't got a black dot on should work. So I'm just building up a little history of backlights here. So I'm going to take 4 or 5 off and put them to one side, and we'll put them on the other strip and see if we can get them going. This is not the outcome that I wanted, because it means I am putting old LEDs into a brand new set. There's one thing about these sets, is the fact that they should have brand new strips in, which mine technically has, but it's going to have a few old LEDs, which means it could fail at any time. And that means I can't really sell it, because I can't give a warranty on it. And if it can fail any time, it will do. So I've got to find a use for this in the house, in the workshop, if I do manage to get it going. But you can see the frustration. Don't usually have this. This is not one of the problems I've ever had before. Normally the brand new strips work, but for some particular reason, this decided that it was going to short out after being on for 2 seconds. I will get in contact with AliExpress. I will show them the photographs, and they will refund me. So if there's a chance, and it's only a real low chance at the moment, that by taking these off the faulty strip, I get the new strip to light up, it means that it's a free TV with free parts. But of course, we've got to put the screen back in. We've got to see what the condition of the picture is like. It's so risky. And at this moment in time, Lady Luck must be shining on me, because I've taken 3 out. I've taken 4 out. Stuck 4, I'm going to say new ones in, but we know they're not new. They're just 4 working ones from the old strip. And they all seem to go in. They're not an exact replacement, so you have to be very precise where you put the LED. Showing my knuckle is probably hiding the fact, but testing them with the LED tester, and now every single one of those is lighting up. But look, I put it back in, and one section isn't. but it's not to do with the work that I've done on the LEDs themselves. It's just that little plug and socket. If I lift the socket up, they come back to life. So what I've done is I've just knocked one of the connections slightly off kilter. So let's just do a little recap here. Again, not trying to be negative, but we've worked on these televisions on so many occasions, and because the LEDs burn up the prism and the plastic, and the end quality picture is normally useless, that we don't touch them, whether it's the curved ones or whether it's the straight ones, whether it's the KUs, the MUs, the NUs, the RUs. This is an RU. It's an RU 7300, which means it's a semi-curved model. Because of that, we don't usually touch them. At the moment, I seem to be getting away with the fact that they've been burnt out badly, because they haven't. They've scorched slightly, and it will cause a slight problem on the picture. But I'm having a heck of a lot of other problems for some particular reason, as you saw a few seconds ago. A section of the new backlights only lasted 2.5 seconds, so I have soldered in 4 from the old strip, which has got them working, but the heat from the heat station has caused this little white plug not to make connection correctly. So I'm just touching it up with a little bit of solder. I've bridged a few contacts, so I'm just trying to make it nice again. And then, with a bit of luck, all the backlights will work. Now, backlights will work anyway when you buy new ones. I've just been very unlucky here. The problem is always trying to get everything back together. It's not so much cracking the screen, even though that really is a worry on these screens that have been curved. Remember, this is a 55-inch, so it's not a small thing. It's quite a large screen that you're handling, which has been curved, and you're trying to make it straight. And also the diffuser. The bottom diffuser is made of plastic glass. And if you get a crack on that, it's game over. So I seem to have other things going against me. And for some particular reason, on a Saturday afternoon, I've got nothing better to do. I don't support any football teams, so I might as well try and, hey-ho, play along with these and see if I can get them working. And just doing a little bit of solder touch-up work has sorted out that plug, and thank heavens, they've all come on. But this shouldn't have been a problem anyway. They should have all have been coming on in the first place, because they were brand new strips. But the only thing, as I said earlier, I can use this to my advantage. I will get a refund because the strips are faulty. They never asked for them back, and I'm just not happy with them. They should not have fused out within 2.5 seconds. Now, though, putting it back together. Now, we spoke about this before. Yes, it all may be down to experience, but working with these is a real, well, I suppose, tension builder, because there are so many things that can go wrong. And on this particular occasion, with this set, there are extra things that have gone wrong. But look, after very gently putting the TV back together, putting the screen back into its curved position, and switching it back on, amazingly, everything is fine. You may be able to see at the bottom, and I'll zoom in. There's a little bit of bleed through, just a little bit. It's perfectly acceptable, especially when you've seen some of the ones that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years. So I'll just zoom in, and as you can see, some light patches. It may be looking lighter on camera than it really is. I'm just totally amazed that I've successfully managed to sort this. I'm even giving myself a pat on the back here, and I never do, even though it's not any work that I've done. I've just been lucky that the set was not as badly burnt up as they can be. Sorry about the flickering image. I'm not seeing that. It's just what happens through the different shutters on the cameras, of course. What I'm now going to do is go through to the backlights and just make sure that they are very low. To do that, you have to go into the expert settings. I've done this once, and I've turned it down to 16, and I'm just going to turn it up, see if it stops the flickering. And the answer is no. So I'm turning it back down again, because obviously it's not a brand new set of backlights. 95% of them are, but sadly there's 2 or 3, well, there's about 4 in there that are from the old strip. And I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you no more, I ain't taking this TV to bits again to put in any brand new strips. I'm just not. I'll find a use for it somehow. Can't sell it, which is a shame, because it is sellable. The picture is good. Incidentally, if you have one of these sets and you'd like me to help you repair it, call me on this telephone number so I can tell you to forget it.